Welcome back to Wedlocked and Loaded.
Wedlocked and loaded.
You women.
Do not lump us all in one category.
So you girls, and lie and stretch the truth
You
and try to get us jammed up.
First of all, I'm a whole ass woman, right? Think about
No
that.
disrespect.
Sounds like it to me. So why can't y'all? What is it with men that they just can't walk away?
Depends how good it is. You don't want to give that away. So, thank you, ladies and ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this episode. Leah is being a superwoman and doing what superwomen do. Shout out to all the mothers out there that had a wonderful, loving, beautiful Mother's Day. I figured I would just kind of hold down the fort and give her a break. You know what I'm saying? I think we haven't done a whole lot of episodes to do a best of. I don't want to be so arrogant. However, there are like some really, really funny moments that I think is worth maybe highlighting. So this episode, in case you've missed it, because not everyone listens to every single episode, I think our audience is growing with each episode that we post. So this episode here is just some of the highlights from each episode to bring you up to speed. And hopefully the idea is you go back and listen to it in its entirety. So we're going to go, starting from 1, which was the first episode that we ever did. And it was just an introduction to ourselves. And, it personally, it's a little uncomfortable to listen to. It's just kind of weird. It's like, doing music, like my very first song I ever recorded. It's like, But, I think we'll start there. We'll start at episode 1 and go right into that. All right? We're going to put it in right here. I thought it was important to intro, because I'm always big on, like, why do something. So everyone has a podcast, and you have podcasts for everything, and everybody's, any niche you can think of, people are talking about. But I think experience is important and perspective is important. And, this is a first for you. So I'm technically your first in something, which I appreciate because...
here we go again.
Because,
anyway,
yeah.
I think I want to touch on something that you said.
Touch on it,
Lord, I think, and that's not just for us, but I think just in general, I think that, I know that I was not necessarily more vested in us or believed in us more. I think what happened was, I believe what happened was a certain level of comfortability set in, right? And you got used to you got used to me just letting things be. And then when I stopped letting things be, that's when a light bulb of some sort went off in your head. And initially, I think that you thought it was more of me being combative or rebellious in a sense. And that, that just wasn't the case. I think that initially you believed in us and you were vested in us just as much as I was, if not more. Because early on, if you can remember, I would do things to kind of sabotage the relationship, right? In hopes that you would walk away. I remember when my heart broke. But you didn't. But anyway, in terms of having examples of successful relationships or relationships that inspired me, I can't say that I had. No, I didn't have any. What I had was the exact opposite, which made me say, I'm never getting married. I have no interest in being married. And that's not to say that there weren't good relationships around me, right? I just felt like the ones that I saw showed me a side of people that I definitely did not want to become.
I think, marriage is different for different people, you know. And I think that I wasn't pro marriage, but I wasn't anti marriage. But I think that I just, like a lot of people, it doesn't really matter whether you officially do it or not. It's just a piece of paper, and you'll often hear dudes like, "Oh, you know, doing it for her." You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same. Nothing changes. We ain't getting no younger girl now. And I can 100% testify that like that's not true. It definitely changes.
Things change.
You know, and so and marriage isn't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just like college isn't for everybody. Owning a home's not for everybody. Owning a car is not for everybody. Some people are okay with taking a bus, and that's completely okay.
Right.
You know, so I think it was important to have the space. This is the very, very first episode.
And I mean, like, you had to get to, like, I'm not saying, oh man, I gotta watch this massage every day.
But you literally just like moaned and exhaled.
I did, because
In a
I'm thinking
microphone,
about,
mind you.
that's okay. I'm thinking about what that would feel like, right? And not necessarily from the people.
No, gray.
You can call it what you want.
Gray.
You can call it what you want.
So when I see somebody busted open, I'm thinking about
again, there's not one size fit all in this, right? I think that unfortunately, speaking for you and I, men and women just, they think differently. Can't say all. Some are more in tune with their feminine side, and some are, are the opposite, right? And so for me,
I think y'all are worse.
Y'all,
and we've had this, women.
Oh, okay.
And we've had this conversation. Men definitely, like, but women are like savages.
So what I'm saying is that there are some men that are more in tune with their feminine side, and that doesn't take away from their masculinity. But there are also some women that are more in tune with their masculine side.
Sure.
And it doesn't necessarily take from their femininity.
Yeah, it's savages.
I mean, again,
and then man
what
eaters.
makes them different from the opposite, who do the same exact thing? Why do women have to be savages or man eaters when their counterparts are doing the same, if not worse?
I'm not a woman eater.
And more. Well. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Go on. Continue.
But anyway.
So next, episode 2. This is what we call the royal bath. Very, very traumatic experience for me. Everyone gets a kick out of it. They think it's funny. They laugh at my expense. But I'll take that. But this is episode 2, Royal Bath. Tell a story.
Okay.
So long story short, we were going to Texas for a friend's wedding. And family's wedding. Stand corrected. Happy wife, happy life. I've learned my lessons. So we go to Texas. Everything was all set, whatever. So I started doing my Googles, and I want to look up adult entertainment, adult activities, and just what I mean. Like it's a thing for me whether we actually go or not. It's just how my brain works. Of like, I just want to know what's around, and it's not necessarily strip clubs. It's just like what's around. It could be a club where they have like foam parties. It can be whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Get to it.
All right. So anyway, I Googled this place. It was a massage parlor, and they also gave baths. And so I always love coming to America with the royal bath. So
the royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
It was attractive to me, so I'm like, okay, cool. So I looked at some of the reviews, and reviews like, they give really good service, this, that, and the third. And then like you scroll down a little further, and it was like, and they give happy endings too. And so like, that's cool to know, but in my mind and the way my brain works is like, that's a cool little add-on if I wanted that, right? That's not what I'm going in for. I'm going in for a bath. One would say, well, why are you going somewhere for a bath? You're married. Right? But anyone that's married knows that it's just, and this is a general statement, but it's different when your spouse is doing something for you versus if you're paying for a service, right? So if I want my foot rubbed, like it might get rubbed for 5 minutes. And, oh, my hands hurt.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
If you pay it, then pay.
Anyway, we whatever. We go to this place. Leah's in a car. I go inside.
Before you go inside, you're like, oh, do you want a massage?
Yeah. Because to me, it's a massage parlor. Like through and through, it's a massage parlor, regardless of the additives.
Keep in mind, it was sold to me as just going to get a massage. Nothing about a royal bath or happy endings. Nothing. Nothing about that.
But that's semantics. Like that's little details. Like
it's a big deal though. But anyway. So
Leah's in the car. I go inside. While I'm inside and I'm paying, I think it was like $40, $45 or something like that. I guess Leah encounters some guy, you know what I'm saying, that comes out. And for anyone out there that's ever been to like not so much now, but like back in the days, if you go to like, or if you ever pass by one of them, like a porn shop or adult store, people inside and they're buying their porn, they shove it in their book bag and they walk out with their head down. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think Leah encountered somebody.
This is my part. This is where I come in because you weren't there.
Okay, I tap out.
Okay. Tap in. Okay. So, I'm sitting in the car, minding my own business, and I happen to look up, and this guy, like, he's walking through the parking lot. Now, we make eye contact. He immediately throws his head down and starts speed walking to his car. So, of course, my instincts are like, this is shady. Something's up. The people's not being honest about what this is.
The people meaning me, because she likes to say people. Just so we got to make it clear for the.
So, when he comes back, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely good. Just take me to the mall, right? Now you may proceed.
Thank you.
No problem.
I tap back in.
Tap in.
So I come outside. I'm happy as Larry. You know what I'm saying? Whoever Larry is. So I'm like, all right, word. So did I ask you? I asked you if you wanted one. You said no.
Absolutely.
I wanted to give because you also want to.
I'm at the mall. Let's get back to it.
All right. So I drop Leah off, fly back there. I probably get there in 2.3 minutes, right? So get back there, go inside. You know what I'm saying? They show me the room, strip down, go into the other room. She starts bathing me. So I'm like, oh my God, this is what life is about. And so it's just like hard scrubs, you know what I'm saying? Like scrubbing me like a horse. And it's this big, long, orange sponge, you know what I'm saying?
Imagine the one that you clean your car with.
Yeah, and it's just
industrial size sponge.
And nothing sweet and tender about it. It's just like,
that's what you get.
I feel like it's kind of chafing. So I'm like, this sucks, yo. I'm like, so I'm like, all right, so maybe the massage would be good. Maybe bathing's not her expertise, right? So then she points me into the room where I can get the massage. So I lay down. I don't know if it was on my stomach or my back. I don't remember. So anyway, she's like, so what do you want? And I'm like, massage. So she's like, we don't do those here. So then a moment stops. And I look up in the ceiling and I look around for cameras and I think of To Catch a Predator.
Then I show him these pictures he sent. Is that you? These pictures there?
And I'm like, damn, is this a joke? And I'm like, what do you mean you don't do massages? She was like, we don't do those here. So I can't think of anything else. And I know you guys can't see, you're listening. I just immediately start doing a gesture of like a hand job. And she's like, $20. And I'm like, So, yeah. So, I'm like, damn, this isn't... And just to be clear, right, because I'm probably leaving it in a way of where people probably think I paid for it. So, I decline that, right, because I'm not going to pay $20 for a hand job. That just doesn't work. So...
Well, why not?
I mean, why?
Why doesn't it work?
I mean, some people think it's foolish to buy water. You know what I'm saying? But you could justify it because there's lead in water. There's, you know what I mean? Like when you're getting
But you just said, right? Like, you just said, when you are in a relationship or married or what have you, right? And you ask your spouse to do something and, they only do it for 5 minutes and complain about hand cramps, right? So, like, why wouldn't, it's a service, why wouldn't you pay for it?
I'm a person, I have a problem with buying salads outside. Like,
or do you?
I can count on one hand how many times I have. I just don't, I feel weird about going and spending $13 on a salad that I can actually buy and make it home. And you know what I'm saying? So my mind doesn't work that way. So, if we're talking.
So you declined it more so because you can give yourself a free hand job?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what needed to happen. But I also didn't go there for that. Like, and so, and there's people listening, of course, of course, the peanut gallery, whatever, blah, 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 all the girls are going to side with you. I genuinely did not go there looking for happy endings or anything where I'm going to release. So I simply wanted my bath.
Great. So let me ask you, if that was like, your pure intention of just getting a quote unquote royal bath, why would you only sell it to me as, just a massage? I
don't remember saying just, but I remember saying a massage
so because the only thing you said.
Because you bathe and then you get your massage.
No, that's the only thing you said.
Well, I don't know, Leah, but I did not. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Well, of course. I mean, you don't have to.
I'm listening.
I did not. So again, intention versus impact, right? I did not before we left. Say, oh man, I can't wait. Because for me, and this is, I think this is a perfect example of not thinking things through on multiple levels, right?
Clearly.
I don't need your ad-libs. This is my story.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're right. You got it.
So it's an example of not bringing things, seeing things through from start to finish, right? So if it was something where I felt like it was illegal or immoral, I wouldn't, I think the honest truth, especially back in that space, not so much today, I wouldn't have told you. I would have just said I'm getting a massage and I would have been disappointed and then I just wouldn't have shared it and I would have said it was cool. But I genuinely was upset and told you what happened. Like, almost like a little kid that went to the store to buy some Swedish fish and they only had now-laters. Like, I was really upset. And I was like, oh man, the bath was awful. And you're like, excuse me? And then that's when I'm like, shit.
And so, well, again, I'm going to have to argue with you on the fact that you probably wouldn't have told me. I think you would have. And just to be clear, right? I wasn't necessarily upset at the fact that was, you know what I'm saying? Something like that you went to get a bath, right? I was more upset at the fact that you omitted that part. And for me, I got doubly upset, right? Because what if I would have said, yes, I'll take a massage, right? And because we did find out later that this particular spot gets rated, constantly, right?
Small details.
And so, we're in Texas, we're not at home, right? And I always say, you go to jail, boo-boo, you on your own. I'm not being nobody's pen pal, no nothing. So, you want to be daring.
Hold on, pause. So, yeah. So, this is where the worlds are different, right? Because I grew up where my parents, for better or for worse, they wrote it out. You know what I'm saying? They was with each other. One person got,
hey, listen,
I don't have that marriage.
I ain't your mama and you damn sure ain't my daddy. So it ain't happening, Captain.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Proceed.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what, I was more upset at the fact that he wasn't being completely honest with me and the possibilities of what could have happened. Right. So now, like I said, now I'm upset. The way my mind works, it's like, oh, your bath, fudge all that.
Fudge?
Fudge.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, clearly, this dude want to see some Putty Cat. Right? So now I get on my Google and I start searching adult entertainment. But I'm specifically looking for strip clubs. So, I find one. We get back to the hotel room and I'm like, you know, we're barely talking because I'm definitely stoned and I know I could, you know, say some unforgiving things when I am upset. And so I chose not to do that. So we get back to the room and I'm like, all right, get dressed. We going out. He has no idea where we going. So we driving. Now I'm driving. He's in the passenger seat. Pull up. Park. I don't know. Did we get valet? Or did I park I think we got valet at the strip club. And, you know, as we was getting out, I'm like, you want to see some nanny? Oh, yeah. Let's go see some nanny.
Who talks like that?
Listen, I'm talking like that.
All right.
So, we get inside. You know what I'm saying? I get the singles, get a table, right up front. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, here you go. You know, a few people was dancing. Not too many seemed to catch his eye. But then there was one. So,
dum, dum, dum.
I'm like, oh, okay. I see you. Now she exits stage left. He's sitting there. Just think of T-Pain's song, I Fell in Love with a Stripper, because this is exactly what it was. Okay? I see how it happens. I'm in love with a stripper. So, I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. I see where the people go. I meet her in the bathroom. Tell her, hey, when you done doing what you gotta do in here, come see me at blah, 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 whatever table we was at. Whatever, you know, they had numbers on the table. So whatever table we was at.
That's kind of madam-like behavior, by the way.
Call it what you want. Don't play with me.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, go back to the table. He has no idea. I'm assuming he assumed that all I did was just go to the bathroom, right?
Because you told me. I mean, I'm just taking your word.
All I said was I'll be right back.
Oh, you didn't tell me you was
I didn't say which way I was going.
Oh, because we weren't really speaking.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, gave him a couple of stacks, sat down. Stripper came over. Now he don't know what to do with himself. And I'm like, dude, give her some money, tip her. She's trying to talk to him, giving him tricks and all kind of stuff, but he's just in la la land.
I mean, she was a very, 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 she was a very pretty girl.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just didn't. Yeah, I didn't know exactly what to, because I had the thought of like, oh wow, and then she comes up to me, she's like, where you from? And I'm like, what's the odds of the one who caught my eye that's coming over to ask me where am I from?
Your wife.
She's like, and she had an accent, right?
From Texas.
Yes. She was like, Boston. She's like, you from Boston?
So I don't think that's an appropriate Texan accent, but I'm going to let you live on that one.
Tomato.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then come to find out, her name was, right?
What was her name, sir?
It was Leah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
clearly you have it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, I mean, and it was just, so I didn't know what to do, right? And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, oh man. And yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember how. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know.
She moved on.
And then what?
And we stayed a little bit longer, and then we left.
Did I give her all the money?
No, you was acting all crazy. I think I went up. I took the rest of it and went up to the front and started giving it to the rest of the dancers.
Yeah. So Anyway, I mean, all that happened, and was that one night?
That was one night. So the day started off with you going to get your massage. At least that's what you told me.
Don't be fresh.
And then it ended with me telling you, let's go.
So, what I didn't realize was my intention was certainly not to, slight Leah or hurt her feelings or do anything that was, disrespectful at all to the marriage, right? But I think I wasn't necessarily looking at that at all, and it was just completely like being selfish of what I wanted.
We actually weren't even married then. This was like 2009.
I thought we were.
No.
Yeah, we were.
Okay. This was like 2009. We were not married then.
Are you sure?
Am I sure that we weren't married in 2009, or am I sure that this happened in 2009?
Are you sure it happened in 2009?
Very sure this happened in 2009.
How so, Sway?
Just because that's just one of those things that I remember.
Why?
Because that's the year that my cousin got married. And that's why we went to Texas.
Oh, well, yeah. Either way, intention versus impact.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I mean, don't interrupt me and then tell me that.
I was just letting you know. Like,
all right, ladies and
factual,
germs.
Right?
This is an excerpt from episode 3, Flag on a Play. This is where we actually introduced that infamous clip with the referee blowing a whistle saying flag on the play, because Leah tends to be a little disrespectful and says some colorful things, and it's just worthy of a flag. So, this is episode 3, Flag on the Play. Why can't you just say it normal like I repeated it?
Because it definitely felt like we was like actually like
reading the script,
taking vows again.
It is. It's a vow.
I understand, but it felt like, so each time I'm gonna feel like I'm standing at the altar again.
That's the idea.
I get it.
You just gotta. All right. So
I like to remix stuff.
Give me my glass.
It's ours.
There you go.
Thank you.
Top it off.
That's what I do best.
Oh yes, Daddy.
Focus, guy. Focus.
You had something you wanted to clarify from the last show, so the floor is yours.
Oh, so
or the bed, whatever you
starting.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
So yeah, I think one of the things that I wanted to say pertaining to the last show was that a lot of times, and this is in reference to the royal bath, right? I feel like men in particular choose to withhold information or lie, right? Instead of being forthcoming with their spouse. And I think they fail to realize, there's always conversation like, oh, you can't handle the truth, right? But this is not necessarily true. I think, if you tried being 100% honest with your mate, your spouse, your partner, you'd be surprised at how far things can and will go, right? So let's refrain from, omission and lying, and work on being honest and having honest conversations. Whether you think they are going to hurt your partner's feelings or not, again, there's a ways in which you do it, right? But it's definitely better to be upfront in the beginning as opposed to not being upfront at all.
But when you say upfront in the beginning, like, people evolve and desires change and wants and needs changes.
And that's fine. So when that happens, talk about it.
So, hey Leah, I definitely enjoy your company. I enjoy the time we share with each other. I enjoy our intimacy. but I'm definitely attracted to your friend that you bring around every other weekend. So is it possible for me to see what happens with that? Are you okay with that?
Well, I've been feeling the same way about one of your people.
Flag on the play.
So,
Let's get to the...
is that okay?
Leah, what are we talking about?
I mean, I'm just trying to figure that out.
I gave you a question, not for you to then twist and turn back on me.
So the point...
You cannot look at my guy friends.
And you can look at my female friends? And I know that's hypothetical.
They're out there.
Excuse me? And so aren't your guy friends.
They're not.
Why not?
You cannot do that.
Oh, please.
Jesus, yo. Like...
I'm a firm believer.
I don't want to start the show this way.
I'm a firm believer.
I don't want to hear your firm beliefs.
What
you cannot...
good for the goose is good for the gander.
This is episode 4. What is love? Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say. I think it was very... This is when I feel like we really started getting into our bag and just having some fun, having some important dialogue. So, yeah. So, episode 4, What is Love? Check it out. Guys and girls are going to be, and so, you know, for guys that go to the hip-hop shows, you know what I'm saying? Like,
here we go with the double standards, though.
It's not double standards. At a hip-hop show, you know what I'm saying? There's like 4 girls, and they're walking around, and even if they're not, like, great-looking and very attractive, like they are fresh meat after you just ran a marathon. So I am just not interested.
After you run a marathon, you're gonna be tired. But anyway.
No, you want to eat. You know, you want to eat and you want to drink. So I just wasn't interested in having my old lady be at a hotel at 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Looking like some fresh. You know what I mean?
But your wife is supposed to be okay with you going to a hotel party.
I'm not strutting around. I didn't have no silk pajamas.
Single friends.
He wasn't single at the time.
He definitely was.
He wasn't technically married, but he wasn't single.
Single. If he ain't married, he's single.
Leah, don't talk in legal terms.
That's what we doing though.
No,
that's
not
just
true.
What it is.
That's not. We're not talking benefits.
Listen.
We're talking if you either you're single.
Listen, we're not even going there.
Anyway, so I go. You know, Leah's
the condition was, and we can call it an expectation, right? And this was a spoken expectation. You will not stay the night.
And I got that. And so I agreed to it. Right? So I think with the ticket, I don't remember if with the ticket it came over.
What time you got home?
Oh my God, stop stepping all over my...
Step on my brand new white Air Jordans that I just bought.
Because I just feel like you running like...
I'm not. I'm saying that with the ticket, I think the ticket included the room.
No, it did not.
I think so.
It did not.
I remember being in a room.
Because your single friend rented a room.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
We could verify that later.
We ain't gotta verify it. The ticket damn sure didn't come from the room.
So we so I got home probably.
The sun was already up.
Probably like 4:46.
The sun was up.
It might have been like 4:46 a.m.
The birds were tweeting and the sun was up.
Well, birds tweet earlier nowadays.
The birds were tweeting and the sun
and it actually might have been like 4:19.
No, it wasn't. It was well after 5 o'clock. Almost 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that's a stretch.
Definitely is not.
You're stretching that really
long. No, it was well after 5 a.m.
So I get home, and in my mind, I'm honoring that agreement of not staying the night because I did not stay the night. I did not lay down and go to sleep and put the covers up to my chin. I didn't.
Some folks sleep standing up.
I didn't lay with nothing soft and warm. You know what I mean? I came home. It was like an hour. It was like an hour away, maybe like 50 minutes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I upheld my end of the bargain. Not so much.
Because you want to play semantics.
That's not semantics, though.
You can't stay the night. Well, I didn't technically go to sleep. Sound like semantics to me.
So this episode is called Dancing Bear. I call it Dancing Bear because I remember years and years and years ago, I think my man put me on to something and was like, yo, you ever see Dancing Bear? Google it. And the moment I Googled it, I'm like, wow. And so there's just a running joke where I feel like, Leah and other ladies, when they go out for ladies' nights, that's what happens. And they, Dancing Bear happens whenever ladies have ladies' nights. Obviously, I'm just being funny and being a little fresh, but, it's just kind of a running joke. So, we titled this episode Dancing Bear. So, check it out.
Because, like it's literally a pattern with you. At least it has been. A pattern with you. But
Of entertaining someone who's harassing you?
yeah.
One, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know that was happening.
This is
I don't know if that's considered harassment, Leah.
Which one?
I think that's like using like everyone's a bully or everyone's a like.
Listen.
She was not to my knowledge, you're no punk, right? So was she like pushing you like you're walking down a hallway and she pushes you into the locker? Is that type of harassment? Was she calling you late at night and breathing into the phone?
Listen, I mean, I did receive a few of those, but that could have been somebody else's chick.
Don't even exactly because you was.
The point is,
he was out in the streets.
I was not out in the streets. I just, was popular.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no.
But
harassing is wild. That's a wild term.
She definitely was harassing me. Like, she would walk behind me, talk mad shit, mad trash. You know what I'm saying? With her friends.
Subliminal.
So for
she didn't say nothing literal. She didn't say like, oh,
but then she
Leah.
came to my classroom
and looked inside.
She didn't. Boy,
Leah, you're not in class by yourself.
Bye.
You weren't in sped.
She came into the classroom. And at this point,
mind you, this girl is literally like 4'6".
It doesn't matter how tall she is. The bottom line is that she had the balls to do it, and it's because you made her feel like she could. That's the part that you guys tend to forget, right? That. When you are
give false hope,
placating and giving false hope to these women, knowing that you got something solid.
But I didn't know. I mean. We weren't like
you could have had something solid,
but you didn't consider me solid.
So I took you serious at that point.
But that's not considering me solid.
I took you serious at that
point. I
point.
took you serious too.
You didn't, because you were still, you know what I'm saying.
My friend asked if I could take her to the thing, Leah.
And now you got a girlfriend. So then no, you don't come to me and ask me that.
But I feel
because I would never have done that.
So on two levels. On one, there should be at least like like Super Mario, when like you eat the mushrooms and you get the things. On a basic level, there should be like some points of like the transparency, right? I should get like something for that, because I could have just like.
So listen.
Right. So that's one, and then two. You said, I feel like on a previous thing, like, oh, well, not married, you're single, and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
So you keep that energy.
So then you keep that energy when you can't find me.
No, Leah, because it doesn't, come on, get to the, move on. Like, no.
What? Yes.
No, Leah.
Yes.
It doesn't work that way.
So, how should it work? Should it only be one-sided?
I only gave context because I wanted to get to current times.
I understand.
I was young and immature, not really clear on.
Yeah, and we can take that back to, somewhat recently.
What recently?
You can use the same excuses of your behaviors up until
I didn't
not
take
too
nobody
long ago.
no Valentine's dance.
So now you want to be like absolutely literal.
The thing with me and the thing with you is so the thing with me is I don't do the exact same thing each time. Right? So in my mind, it's not doing the same thing. I'm not coming in the house every night at 3 a.m, smelling like perfume with like, kisses on my collar. Right?
I'm not looking and I'm not smelling.
But I don't do that. I don't constantly, whenever you bring your friends around, I'm hitting on them. I don't do that. But there are things that I have been doing that I guess all have equated to like not being thoughtful and not being respectful. And so that I can own. But I don't see it that way in a moment because it's not.
Well, you don't see it that way in a moment, regardless if you're being told that. It's because you're doing what you want to do. You was doing what you wanted to do. So anytime I hopped on a plane, that was me doing what I wanted to do.
That's not the same.
It wasn't about. It absolutely is. It wasn't about. And not that I was hopping on planes to go see other people, because I want to put that out there, because that's not what that was.
Well, in my mind.
Well, whatever.
Because that definitely happens.
What happens?
That happens for girls that know what I mean?
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm not.
Some of your friends do that.
Some of who? Don't do that. Don't do that.
I didn't say their names.
Don't you do that and sit up here and make up stories on my friends.
Leah, you have a plethora. So like some of them possibly can be.
Who?
I'm not gonna say what difference does it make?
So first of all, it makes a lot of difference, because now like you're putting something out there that you have no basis.
All right, so I'll take off your friends, but females absolutely do that, and people that don't want to get busy and and what's the word you used to me? Placate, fornicate. What did you say?
Use your own words.
People that don't want to play around the city, they don't want to go to Slade's and find some lucky fella. They'll go to Turks and Caicos. They'll go to Saint Martin. They'll go to DR, and they'll get
So I feel like this.
They'll get all that.
I feel like
you know what I mean?
talked about this.
Oh, see, they got the tattoo. They got the matching.
That's so nice.
You see that?
That's awesome.
That's love.
I feel like
and they went through. They went through a lot.
They did.
But they still got the matching.
That's okay. She also has like a 50-carat canary diamond ring.
That's coming. If you get the
here we go
the tattoo.
You be promising me mad stuff for a damn
but you
tattoo.
Haven't done it.
I don't have to. I bore your children. I have your name tattooed on me already.
That's my son's name. Know.
Twice.
Yeah, you love him.
So, I had the
Make
first
it real for me and put it on your finger.
I made it real for you when I signed the dotted line.
Oh.
Period, sis.
Oh, shit. So, in this episode 6, we called this I'm a Flirt. And this was just talking about, differences in flirting and what's acceptable, what's not. And certainly in relationships, there's differences and difference of opinions and gauges and levels and tolerances. So we decided to really tap into that, delve into it, explore it, and, hopefully provoke thought in your relationships and in your friendships. And we call this I'm a Flirt.
Do you consider that flirting?
No, but I consider it disrespectful.
Good, what are you wearing? You consider that disrespectful?
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
How, Slay?
Because you want me to smell like another nigga, yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to stop saying the N word.
Sorry.
And then
bleep it out.
So that's 1. 2. What we know is that no cologne is going to smell the same on everybody.
Blah, blah, blah.
So you will not necessarily smell like the other man. But there is something in that scent
that turns you on.
So, what?
Yeah, that turns you on, nigga.
Me?
Sorry. I actually don't even... My fault.
You're definitely wild. But no. That caught my attention maybe, but turned me on? No, it doesn't turn me on.
I've definitely smelled like nice fragrances, and I don't think I've ever went up to a female and said what's that smell? Like, what do you smell like?
No, so no. You don't say what do you smell like.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just I'm freestyling. My point is, I've smelled females that smelled good, and I just I accept it for what it is. I don't say oh, what's that fragrance? oh, my sweet dear. Or,
You don't. I mean, see, like you're doing way too much. Like that's super extra. Like if
hello, madam. What's that fragrance
cross,
you're adorning?
No, if I cross paths with someone and
you sniff their
they
neck and
smell,
say, "What are you
no,
smelling?"
I don't sniff. I don't have to sniff their neck if they are wearing it appropriately. Like, and I pass by, like, or we cross paths rather, like I'm going to smell it, just like I'm gonna smell somebody's funk.
And so when they see you the next time, they're going to be like, oh, that's the chick that was digging my scent.
Whatever.
Like, oh, that's the bee that was asking me what am I wearing. Because it sounds like a pickup line.
It's real. No. And so.
You say, like, what's that smell? I want to get it from my husband.
What I'll say is like, wow, what do you, like, what are you wearing? It smells good.
Yeah.
And they'll usually tell me.
Of course they do.
And I'll be like, wow, thank you. And that's that. Like, there's no
like, what's your Instagram handle?
No,
yeah. Knock it off. And so that you in your head and in your world don't see how that could be a pickup line.
So what I'm saying is, if I stayed and went further, or you know what I'm saying, like, yes, then that can possibly turn into something else. But if I am being sincere in my quest to find what the hell they're wearing, what they're wearing.
I'll flip your lip.
What they are wearing, then that's gonna be that.
Yeah, I don't know.
No extra.
If a girl asks me, what am I wearing?
What?
I'm like, well, I mean, what's it smell like?
No. See how, like, that's too much.
So in this episode 7, we really wanted to be intentional, very mindful, very, very hopefully inspiring to the ugliness that happens, behind closed doors. It's not even necessarily in our community. It's just something that unfortunately women across the world have to deal with. And oftentimes, are constantly re-traumatized and expected to smile in spite of, and produce and perform in spite of. And so this was an episode that certainly was the most serious, the most intentional episode, the most vulnerable Leah's ever been, especially in a public setting. And hopefully it helps and takes the shame off and empowers. So in episode 7, I think we'll end here because I think it's important to leave with something that's meaningful. And we'll definitely come back and we'll revisit the other ones. But this episode 7, is called Abusive. And again, hopefully it was able to help someone. So thank you for tuning in to Wedlocked and Loaded. Again, giving Leah time. Happy Mother's Day again to all the strong, beautiful women that are out there really, being anchors, oftentimes leading the household, making ends meet with very, very little resources, and doing the best that they can, So I salute you. And again, happy Mother's Day. It's not just one day, year round. Thank you for your service. Thank you, and thank you. And we'll see y'all next week. Wedlocked and Loaded. Yeah.
Getting, being new at this school. Meanwhile, I was always new at the school. Golly, I went to so many schools. But I was new at this school, and, one of the kids wanted to talk to me. And, like, I was, for me, I felt like I was being polite. I just was not interested in giving him my phone number or taking his. Like, I just wasn't interested in that. I remember getting off the school bus, and he said something to me.
clearly he didn't like my response, and he cold clocked me right in my jaw. And I was so stunned, like I was frozen. Because I just couldn't believe, like, you punched me because I wasn't interested in you. At 12, I was 11. I was 12. Jesus. But either way, you know, like, you know, he was around, he was probably a grade ahead of me or two. So that meant at least 2 years older than me. But like, you are that young thinking it's okay to physically assault another young person, a female at that, all because you couldn't take the rejection. And it wasn't, you know, let me embarrass you type rejection. Like, even in my no, I was being like super polite. No, thank you. You know? Yeah, so that was my first experience.
And now how was that dealt with, or was it?
It wasn't dealt with. Like initially, like once I was like, you know, got out of my shock, I had mentioned it to somebody or whatever, and, you know, like, I had to kind of diffuse that situation. I, however, never told my parents, or actually, you know, none of my family members. Oh, wow. You know, I'm thinking that wasn't even my first experience, now that I think about it. But it doesn't matter. We'll stay there.
Wedlocked and loaded.
Wedlocked and loaded.